Social media and media in general will have you believe that creative people just live, eat, sleep and breathe their craft, that whatever it is that they do, it's the one and only thing they want to do at all times. And even I've had comments at times where I talk about struggling with motivation and people have said, well, it doesn't sound like this is the thing for you. It sounds like it's more of a chore. And the thing is, I love painting. I can't imagine doing anything else with my life, and I'm so grateful that I get to call it my career. But I don't always want to do it, especially if I have to. It might be the same for you. You might have a school project or like a GCSE sketchbook that you need to fill, or something that you promised to make for a family member or a friend, or you're working to improve your art and you know that in order to do that, you need to practice, you need to paint more often and study, paint and draw things that you might not necessarily want to be able to better understand certain creative concepts. For me right now, I'm working on a commission at the moment and it is great. I love it. But sometimes I just want to do something else, anything else. And I sit there with this blank piece of paper in front of me and I sigh and I think, how can I make myself want to do this? Or at the very least, how can I make myself do this whether I want to or not? And I am a professional procrastinator, but over the years I have found some really easy, practical ways to get myself in motion when all I want to do is anything but what I'm meant to be doing. So write these tips in the front page of your sketchbook or on a post-it on your desk, and let's get ourselves back in the mood to make some art. You might want to use a journal for this, or if nothing else, just have a quiet space and 5 or 10 minutes to sit and think. What is stopping you from doing what you're meant to be doing? And I don't want to hear, I just don't want to. Delve deep. Keep asking yourself the question why over and over and over again. You might discover that you're feeling unfocused because you're feeling tired, or you don't feel like you can get this particular thing done with the tools and supplies that you have at your disposal. You might feel like you're not capable of whatever you've set in front of you, and you're apprehensive to start something that you in your mind think you're gonna fail. You might find that you just don't really know where to start. So identify the thoughts, the beliefs and the feelings that are tripping you up, and then write down or think up as many possible solutions to those things as you can. So if I think about the paintings that I'm working on at the moment, even though they're all so different, they're all very varied, I'm finding the process a bit repetitive. I have 81 illustrations to finish in total, and they are all the same size. They're all gouache paintings, and I have chosen to use the same color palette for consistency across all of them. It's getting a bit samey, so how could I shake things up? I could do something completely different between each painting, like practice making origami animals, or going through the junk mail that we always get and cutting out pictures that I think look interesting. I could change my environment, or I could stick on a podcast or audiobook instead of the same playlist that I always listen to when I'm painting. I could even pop a video on, a YouTube video on in the background if I think that that will make the process a little bit more interesting. Or I could gamify it a little bit, maybe set myself a timer for the next painting and then try to beat that timer for the one after that. See how many solutions you can come up with to your specific problem and try them one by one until you land on one that gets you back in the zone. 99.999% of the time, the thing holding us back is not knowing where to start, or knowing what we need to do, but not being able to get ourselves into action. Instead of approaching the big, daunting task of a painting or project all at once, it helps to just do one little thing at a time. Just commit to getting your supplies out first. That's easy, you can do that. You don't have to paint anything, you are just getting your supplies. Then fill up your paint water, clean your brushes, or sharpen your pencils, open up your sketchbook. For me, the final step in this getting ready stage is squeezing paint out onto my palette. And at that point, I kind of have to start because I don't want the paint to just dry there and end up being wasted. By approaching the task slowly, one little bit at a time, you ease yourself into a little momentum that grows and grows until the next steps aren't ones that you even need to think about. You just do it. Also, pro tip, one of my Patreon supporters, Kendall, recently commented that she does this with her entire daily to-do list, which I think is such a great idea. She just notes down the first small step instead of the larger, more daunting task. And it's something that I've been doing for a couple of days now, and it has transformed my productivity. So instead of sitting and looking at my to-do list, procrastinating, I think, well, yeah, okay, I can at least transfer the video files from my camera to my computer. And once I've done that, it's like, okay, well, that only took a second. I might as well load up Premiere Pro and transfer the video files into there. And so on. You might not be able to trick yourself into starting, even with all your supplies laid out, because you still might not be sure where to begin. How do you take that small step when you don't even know what that small step should be? So I find it helps to just leave my half-finished work or sketch or even just the blank page that I've got in front of me while I do other things. So it'll be here in front of me at my desk between my keyboard and my screen, so that whatever else I'm doing, my mind starts to problem solve by itself. It starts to try to figure out what I need to do next. The brain responds to being asked questions. Even if you're not actively searching for answers, your subconscious is primed to find a way forward. So keeping your artwork and or your reference in front of you keeps that question of what next or how do I begin right at the forefront of your thoughts until you find a way. Another way to get that initial hesitation to start out of the way is with your blank page and supplies in front of you to just picture what it is that you want to achieve here. What will the finished piece look like? And then work your way back to the beginning to get to that finished piece. Where could you begin? Do you need a sketch or a base layer of colour to build on? Do you need to work out which values go where? Can you simplify the whole entire composition into a handful of the most dominant shapes that you can see? Just think about how you'll start. Even come up with different ways that you might be able to start. And you don't need to think beyond the first few steps. Just imagine how you'll begin. Try it, and then the rest should follow. If all that fails, it might mean that your creative batteries need charging. So give yourself half an hour to seek out inspiration, trawl Instagram or TikTok for art that you love, and take a close look at the details and the process. See if you can take any lessons from what you see in other artists' work. It might be time for you to get up, move around a little, shake the cobwebs off. I'm the weird kind of person that actually enjoys cleaning and tidying, so I usually do a bit of that when I feel like I need a refresh. It gets me moving and it makes me feel productive. And it's also not mentally demanding, so my brain still has room to tick away at how I might be able to solve the art problem in the background. You might like popping out for a quick walk or calling a friend and just walking around in circles as you chat with them. Or you might be into meditating, reading, you might want to watch YouTube videos, play with your pet. Just make sure to set a timer and come straight back to your work after half an hour at most. Another way that I like to get creative without actually working on the things that I'm meant to be working on is to do some creative art journaling, cutting and sticking scraps of paper, doodling and writing. It can be haphazard, it can be messy and unstructured. There are no rules and you can just go with the flow as you experiment with what works and what doesn't. And that kind of free creative feeling can work just as well with the project that you're struggling to motivate yourself for, bringing that same sense of fun and curiosity and experimentation with you as you move back into the hard work. Just because you're looking for a particular outcome with it doesn't mean you can't get playful with the process. Just trust yourself. Know that you are capable. You just need to try. And if it doesn't work out how you wanted it to, at least you did something, and that's something that you can learn from and try again, knowing that you'll do a little bit better next time. If you think of motivation like a muscle, the more you try, the stronger it gets and the less you have to try next time. So every time you think, oh, I can't be bothered, you can also think, but this is also a great chance to work on my motivation muscle so I don't have to face so much resistance next time. I hope you found this video helpful. It's not actually the video I was planning on making this week, but it's been on my mind. And whenever I find something that works for me, the first thing I want to do is share it with as many people as I can. So let us know in the comments if you have any great ways to get yourself in the mood to make art when you don't want to. And otherwise, thank you so much for watching and I will see you soon for the next one. Bye.